My name is Sharon Yu.
My name is Yao Isu.
I'm Cassandra Silva.
I'm Cindy Carrero. And I'm Ashley Alvera.
And our project is Food Co-op. For Food Co-op, our goal is high performance with the project started from scratch. Like we don't know Food Co-op at the beginning and until we start doing it and we contribute on it. And gathering the data and information to analyze all the information that we gathered and we start build the survey for our project and executing our objectives with no or lesser obstacles. Obstacles. Yeah. And this is two example of our survey. This is the first survey that our teammates created, and we have an explanation of our food co-op, and we have like some question about food co-op like during the survey. And we switched the hard copy to the online version. And the benefits of doing food co-op which is communicate to the local organization, and we kind of know the food co-op well, and we involved in organization, and we can know the food co-op what they are doing and what they can bring for the local community. And knowing what is food co-op is really help us to create the project. And the brainstorming to create a survey related to food co-op and the local community. And actually learned how to use Survey Monkey and a school survey to do the survey and to give us the survey to do it, and we can gather all the information. We have learned about the food co-op, about a business owned and governed by the people who use it, usually called members, and people working together to meet their mutual needs, and benefits the local community for serving local food and boost the local economy, decrease health issue long term. And we also learned other things from other class, like collaboration, communication, organization, networking, and innovation. And we use all the things that we learned, we contribute to this project.
So our main goal is that we need to do some research to allow the organizations that are working with us to determine whether a food co-op is worth creating in this region and where exactly would be best. How can we achieve our goals? We can create a survey then distribute to people, analyze the information and get the result. And what's the result? We get some different information from about 100 people. After analyzing the information, we get some conclusion and recommendation. So my groupmate will show you later. What do we do to accomplish our objectives? When we begin our project in the beginning of the semester, we first review the food co-op main website. We found survey link and gather the create questions, create any new questions that would assist in data collection. After we collect and organize the information, we collect all surveys and interview notes for the teacher and Kaiser. Then we create a PowerPoint slide and did a presentation in the midterm and introduce our the food court and our next step of the project. After the midterm, we had 2 meetings with teacher and Kaiser and talk about the survey making. We plan to visit the GNBWIP. Unfortunately, we canceled it because of the time conflict. Finally, we create the survey and began distribute and gather information on the survey. We met some problem during the survey creation. We are the first time create a survey, so we are not familiar with it, but finally we make it. And when we do the distribution, how can we ask like 100 people to do our survey? So we ask our friends, workers and their family to do it and post in the Facebook. And professor also give us a big help to complete it.
So we faced, as he said before, problems and concerns during the entire process. So during the entire process, our main objection, or at least one of our main objectives, is to create, distribute, and gather information for Deirdre and Kesa. So the first thing we did was create a survey. Then we distributed the survey. And the last thing we were going to do is analyze the results. So when we were creating the survey, we had no idea what a food co-op was. None of us really knew. Deidre and Kesa actually told us this was the first time that they were actually being part of the food co-op, so it was new for them too. So basically a minefield of what needs to be done. We didn't know how to make it, what to do with it, so that took a whole bunch of time. Some of the issues we found were what type of questions we were writing, if we were going to get one from the organization or create our own. What questions should we include? And one of the, not major issues, but one of the issues that comes across any survey making is the approval delays. We all have different scheduled times, so creating the survey and then having it approved by both Kesa and Deidre took a whole bunch of time, so that's some of our issues we had during creating the process. During the distribution, we were focusing on how will we distribute the survey. We were thinking social media like Facebook, Twitter, emails, hard copies. We didn't know. We thought best means is social media, mainly through Facebook and emails. And then we had to decide who are we going to give the survey to. We, again, didn't know how to do surveys very much, so the learning curve was very hard. We were talking to Deirdre, and she wanted us to go visit farmers markets, ask our friends, families. We thought students on campus, professors, and anyone who would be willing to answer our surveys. Our primary focus is adult families, so if we can get those results mainly, that would be great. I would say the main issue we had was the deciding factor. How are we going to distribute the survey? So in the analysis of the information, we had like 28 questions, which is kind of long for a survey. It took time for people to answer the survey and for us to look at all of the data we got. Fortunately, Qualtrics, the program we decided to use through the university, it analyzed all the results and gave us drafts that helped better explain all of our information we got it, so that cut down a whole bunch of time for us. What common theme we all had was none of us really have done a survey again. So trying to analyze and try to find connections to our information took a lot of time to review and finally focus on what's necessary for it.
So analyzing the survey questions, we want to know what our results indicate about the public's desire for a food co-op. So who took the survey? There was about 150 people who actually took the survey, and to start with general demographic questions, out of the 100 people who answered the age range question, about 38 of them were in the 18 to 24-year-old range, and about 62 were of the age of 25 or over, and that was preferred for us because we wanted to reach, like Ashley had previously mentioned, the family type age range that wants to cook a healthy dinner and would most likely be shopping at a food co-op. And for if they were male or female, they were predominantly female, and 77 out of the 100 survey takers were female and 23 were men. So we also want to know how much households are spending per week on groceries. 23.06% was the highest percentage recorded, and that was for $76 to $100. So people, 30 out of the 136 people that answered this question are spending about $76 to $100 per week on grocery items. Next, we wanted to find out where they're spending most of their grocery dollars. So, the predominant place that people are spending their grocery dollars seem to be regional supermarket chains like Stop and Shop and Market Basket. And coming in second would be the local grocery store. We actually also noted that 0% of survey takers are currently spending money at an existing food co-op.
So, where do they regularly purchase their following types of products? So, based off the survey that we got, we gathered that 85% of people purchase their fresh fruits and vegetables at their primary store. People will buy most at the primary store, unless it's beer and wine and like alcohol or bulk items. Shoppers are not going to go out of their way for fresh products elsewhere. So we asked them a question where it says, please rate your primary grocery stores in terms of how well it's meeting their needs. And the different needs range from quality freshness to hours of operations and to availability of their natural organic food section. So we also asked them to choose their 5 factors that they would consider when they do grocery shopping, and the top 5 came out to be prices, the quality and freshness of products, location of store and convenience, product selection and variety, and cleanliness of store. And the organic section of like if they paid attention to that, and if that was like in the top 5, it actually came out to be their 8th most important factor, with the percentage of 3.24. So with those, based off like the survey that we did, we had 28 questions like Ashley had said previous, and from that, I feel that with that, we got to see if people were familiar with what a food co-op and kind of see what they feel about their primary store, which I feel is very helpful for Deidre, who is like part of the Fairhaven Sustainability, to see whether their competition that they have, and to see what they can contribute to if they decide to do the food co-op. We went over our target, which was 50, so we got over 100. So that was a good part about it, that people were very active in that, and made us see and get more information that we use. So as a group, we feel that the survey needs to be updated. So a few of the questions didn't really target for say, like one of them was like, what are your top 3 local newspaper? And for that, it's just like in 2017, many of the people don't really like consider that like an important thing. So we felt like that didn't really help target anything to do with the food co-op. We also established that it would be good for the Fairhaven Sustainability to visit an established food co-op. We wanted to do that, but due to the time constraint, we really didn't get the chance to do that. And I feel like that would be an important step to understand, for them to see and actually experience to see the ins and outs of a food co-op. And they possibly could even do interviews with like the people that are a part of the food co-ops. We also came to the fact that more research needs to be conducted in order for us to truly decide if it's effective. So two questions that I felt that were interesting. was how far members would travel, which I feel is a great thing for location wise. I know that Deidre said that they are mainly thinking about doing it in Fairhaven, which, and from our survey, we saw that 51% of people were willing to drive 1 to 5 miles. And 21% of people were willing to drive less than a mile. And even 18% of people are willing to drive 5 to 10 miles, which is a great thing because that gives them options of where they could possibly place this if they felt like this was the right step to do. Also, another one that I felt was very important for them is ways that they can get word about food co-op. You know, it's very unfamiliar in this area, and a way that they can advertise that and get people more involved with that would be to incorporate advertising it on different social media. One of the questions was, please list the top 3 favorite social network websites. And from this, you can see that the top 3 are Facebook, Instagram, and I would say Snapchat. A lot of it I would say those are the top 3. So they can use different methods to get the word out on these different social media platforms, which I feel will benefit them. In conclusion, our main question is if a food co-op is a good idea to bring to the Fairhaven area. And as of right now, there isn't enough information collected to determine if that would be a success, due to the fact that we had a short period of time and we had some challenges with the survey, and we weren't able to visit a food co-op due to people different scheduling, and to actually get one-on-ones to actually truly see the benefits and the different things that food co-op go through. So that is why we didn't collect enough. Should there be a food co-op? Yes, because the fact is that it has many benefits. You know, it's for the local organization, which will benefit the area. But it's just the fact that we didn't get the enough time. So it has to be determined once information has been gathered. And from the previous slides, I feel like we as a group feel like those are great steps for Fairhaven Sustainability and GWEB to take.